Over the weekend, and certainly something that everybody is talking about, comments made by High Court Judge Mabel Jansen caused a storm on social media over the weekend. Last year, she posted on Facebook that rape was part of Black South Africa. Jansen defended her comments and said they were taken out of context. This, of course, led to the Judicial Services Commission, or the JSC, investigating a complaint laid against the judge over her comments. This week, Minister of Justice and Correctional Services, Michael Masutha, granted Jansen special leave, and he joins us in our Cape Town parliamentary studios to unpack this even more. Minister, thank you again for being with us here on the program.
And good morning to you, Leanne, and the viewers.
Minister, I mean, just to say that Judge Mabel Jansen's comments caused an absolute outrage here in South Africa, I think is an underestimation of what it really did cause amongst social media users and the general public. But getting back to how things are done in the law, how was it that it led you to grant her special leave? How was the decision actually reached?
Well, the applicable regulations allow me to, under exceptional circumstances, grant such leave to a judge at the request of generally the head of court of the court concerned. In this instance, Justice Mlambo, who is the president of the Gauteng High Court, where the affected judge belongs, had made that request to me, and I felt in the circumstances that placing the judge on special leave was warranted, and I did so.
Yeah. So Jansen at this point is on leave pending finalization of the complaint submitted to the JSC. What are the likely outcomes of something like this?
Well, I wouldn't prejudge the outcome. In any case, neither will I be part of the Judicial Conduct Committee, which will have the first bite at the matter to look at whether there is sufficient basis to refer it to the JSC for its consideration to have a Judicial Conduct Tribunal set up to formally hold an inquiry, which, if it returns a negative verdict, would communicate that back to the JSC, which in turn would refer it to Parliament, and it's up to Parliament then to take a decision if the recommendation is for the removal of a judge.
Yeah, I mean, if we look at an incident like this, what would you say? And her comments, how do they reflect on the South African judiciary system?
Well, the hope is that this is a very isolated incident. The Constitution enjoins us to ensure transformation of the judiciary, both in terms of its composition, but also in terms of its orientation and ethos. It requires of judges to dispense of justice without fear, favor, or prejudice. The hope is that we have, if at all, isolated incidents of racial prejudice among the judiciary.
Yeah, yeah. You know, obviously, Judge Jansen has had many interviews in the media, and she's had her chance to sort of talk and say that these comments have been taken out of perspective. One of the comments that she did say, and I think it was for the Business Day newspaper, she actually said that instead of labeling her a racist, the country should actually address what she calls the real issue of protecting vulnerable women and children. Again, a comment from you on this. Are we perhaps not protecting them enough, that it is infuriating judges?
Well, I don't know the context of such a remark. What I can say is that from the criminal justice system point of view, you might be aware that the police have resuscitated special measures to deal with sexual violence against women. Now women are interviewed in special rooms with officers who are specially trained with the necessary sensitivity to handle the matter, to handle such matters. And from the court side, we are busy rolling out special sexual offences courts, specially equipped with all manner of appropriate technology, and women can now testify in camera so that they're not in direct contact with the accused in those matters. We have Tutuzela centers that we're also rolling out, which are one-stop centers that provide everything from prophylactic treatment within the 72-hour window, taking swipes, making sure that the case is properly handled end to end. And now women can also go directly to hospitals now lately to report rape cases and don't have to start at a police station first. So all of those measures are in place, and the conviction rates have also been increasing in this and many other areas of serious crime.
Yeah, indeed.
So I don't know the context.
Even just getting back to some calls as well of some of the cases that Judge Jansen may have presided over, is there a possibility that these may be brought back into a court of law because of her biased and prejudiced views?
Well, look, all I'll tell you is that ordinarily the affected litigants, if they feel that there is reason to object to a decision of a judge, they're at liberty to appeal or take the matter on review on whatever legal grounds they may wish to. And it's really up to an appeal court to determine whether there's merit in the concern. That's how the system generally also quarantines itself from such imperfections as decisions that may have been taken outside the what the law requires or the Constitution.
Yeah, yeah. Minister, just in terms of calls to have her removed from the bar, is this the ultimate punishment for a judge that takes to social media? And perhaps we can address something like that. Taking to social media as a judge, you've heard Zizi Kodwa from the ANC saying that a judge is not entitled to opinions, only is entitled to what the law says. You know, these are things that we really do need to take very, very seriously. And what is the warning to judges in a similar situation when it comes to using social media and giving advice?
Well, both a judge and a legal practitioner, who all judges are governed by ethical codes which require of them to be fit and proper persons to be in either profession. And certainly if they step out of that narrow path, there are ordinarily a possibility of consequences flowing out of that. We've just looked at the process in relation to the judiciary. There is a process that can be followed in the event a lawyer, acts in conduct that is not befitting of an officer of the court.
Yeah, yeah. Minister, let's leave it there for this morning, but thank you so very, very much for joining us here on the programme and talking to us about this issue of Judge Mabel Jansen. Also, some tweets that have come through. Again, thank you very, very much, Minister. Some tweets that have been coming through. This one from Leonie Ari saying, Judge Mabel should not even have discussed that issue. Racism and colonialism are very much so alive, which is a big problem. Here's Humphrey saying, Judge Jansen must see an African Sangoma to get cleansed for her racism disease. She is sick. We need to forgive her. All right, there we go. That's some of your comments that have been coming through. But this is now leading us to our news headline bulletin.